I'm going to explain to you why I am under the impression that modern architecture construction itself has been weaponized against humanity. Now hear me out, might sound absurd. So there is a woman named Tanya Harris, okay, you can Google her, you can research her. She has her own website. And in England, she went to these Hawksmoor buildings, okay, they were, what are now cathedrals, but I'm under the impression they were town halls at some point. And she wanted to understand the sacred geometry and the resonance frequencies of architecture and see if there was a link. And so she went inside these buildings, she took the resonance frequencies, made them audible, and as we know, semantics is putting sound and vibration into patterns so that we can visibly see what vibration and sound look like. And so she turned these audible notes of these buildings, the resonance frequencies, and turned them into semantics and patterns for us to see. And what she found was each Hawksmoor building had a different pattern, and a lot of these patterns have been known to be harmonious to human health, have been known to heal, regenerate, instill the healing process in man, okay, when you are in the presence of these buildings. Now, when we study Tartaria, I would recommend anybody go on DuckDuckGo or whatever search engine you use, type in old Tartarian style buildings and have a look through the images and tell me that these do not look so creative, imaginative, beautiful, magnificent buildings, okay? And then when you go down the architecture, you realize the ancient people contained or possessed knowledge of sacred geometry, of resonance, of healing and frequency, mathematics we've never seen before, okay? And precision and accuracy. And they built these buildings with all of what I just said encompassed inside the building, okay? And when you go down also, a lot of what these Tartarian style buildings have, you also come under the impression that maybe they are harnessing etheric energy, electrical energy, and electrical buildings themselves. Hence why we have the term electric city, okay? These cities were electric. Now, having said that, the reason I'm saying this is because it is evident now that the people who built a lot of these old buildings we see can possess this kind of knowledge, and we're really there to inspire, to improve the consciousness, the awareness of man as a whole. And then we fast forward to today and we have this modernistic kind of buildings that is called, and this is the real name, it's called Brutalism. The style of these buildings using concrete to create our buildings, to create our skyscrapers. And if you ask me, it's very dull, it's boring, it's uncreative, unimaginative, contains no awe-inspiring things, and very easy to construct. Okay, and the excuse to why they do not build any buildings like what they used to is because they say they have no money. But I've looked into this, and it's not got to do anything with money, but it's got to do with everything about suppressing information about sacred geometry, resonance frequency, suppressing our true history, what our previous civilizations were capable of, and maybe even things to do with free energy and things like that. It's called brutalism, this modern architecture, because in my opinion it's brutal on the psyche. It keeps humanity at a lowered level of being, in a lowered state of consciousness. When you look outside and you see a completely dull and boring building, inspires nothing, doesn't motivate you. I reinforced this idea because I took a trip with my wife to Budapest. We went to Budapest. It was a spontaneous trip in Hungary. And if anybody's ever been or thinking about it or have seen the images of these buildings in Budapest, they are absolutely incredible. They are electric, right? And I don't typically like cities. I'm not a city person, but when I was in this city and I was in the presence of these ancient, immaculate structures, I felt alive. I felt electric. I felt inspired to reach my goals, my ambitions, inspired throughout the day. And I felt a life and an energy and electricity within me. We are electrical beings. We have the ability to connect with these kind of buildings. Compare the feeling that I had within a city like Budapest to what I have in my hometown, for example, Manchester. It's very dull and boring, and it clicked because I realized at that point that building and architecture is being weaponized against us. And I'm going to show some images and pictures of my trip to Budapest, our trip to Budapest, and you will see the difference in structures. All of these buildings were built with such precision, mathematical genius, and with sacred geometry and resonance, all involved in these structures, providing you with the ability to actually resonate with the building itself, providing you on a cellular level, on a vibrational level, benefits. This is what I, and then you just have to look, you know, why are all these buildings, these old Arturian style buildings being destroyed? Rockefeller has a lot to do with it. I know he destroyed a lot of old mansions and palaces that contained a lot of this ancient antiquity. They were destroyed by Rockefeller funded operations. And then you have to question, why in war do they target all of these old buildings? Because in my opinion, these buildings hold a lot of secrets and a lot of key details to our ancient civilizations, to our past and previous peoples, and who built these, who were the constructions, who were the, you know, masons of these buildings. And I believe they can't build these anymore. They don't possess the knowledge, or if they do, which I think they do not put it in the public domain. It's kept secret and hidden for many different purposes. Everything that is to benefit humanity and their consciousness and our consciousness as a whole is always suppressed. And I just want to raise this because I don't see many people speaking about this topic. I don't see many people speaking about architecture. And so I want to provide you another rabbit hole for you guys to go down so we can share some information. If you've got more information, please drop down a comment. But yeah, I just thought I'd hop on, share my thoughts, share what I'm researching at the moment. And definitely check out these old buildings. Go on Google Images and see for yourself. They are immaculate. Peace.